Morning, everybody. We're back at it again today. Captain Austin, Primetime Fishing Charters. Bounced around a few spots this morning and finally found some decent trout. So, see if we can show you a few. This morning I'm using a popping cork. I caught the last bit of the outgoing tide, and it seems to be paying off. I had to go looking for them, but once I found them, I found them. Same concept, throwing it out. We're fishing boats in 8 foot of water. We're probably fishing in about 2.5 to 3 foot of water. It's not really much to it. Throw it out, watch the cork. When the cork goes down, you catch the fish. Just like that. It's gonna be the same thing as yesterday. I done got 3 nice trout in the box. Turn the camera on, the little guys want to bite. That's okay though, we'll find some keepers. Hold on. Beautiful little trout in the morning. See you later, buddy. They're biting pretty good, and they're biting so good. I'm thinking about throwing plastic. I ain't committed yet. There's another fish. Alright, I'm gonna have to throw plastic. I can't help myself. Oh no, he came off. Dang it. That ain't no good. That was a rookie move there. Got some big waves coming in. Somebody that has a big boat doesn't know what boater's etiquette means, but that's okay. Funny how these trout eat. Sometimes they're in one little area, sometimes they're kind of scattered in a better area. There's better fish. Oh lordy. Gotta love it. Baby shark do. I've been bitten, I don't know how many times by these little guys. It hurts. It's like sticking your hand in a paper shredder. The little teeth break off in you and it just doesn't feel that good. But same thing as the ladyfish when the little bonnet heads are around. I don't know why the trout hang out with them, but they do. Also makes for a pretty good drag puller. And when the bonnet heads are of size, they're actually pretty darn good to eat. A lot of people don't know that. And I think a lot of people don't know that whenever you catch a shark, you shouldn't just catch it and throw it in a cooler. You should catch it, put it out of its misery, bleed it and gut it immediately, and then throw them on ice. And I will tell you that I've had a lot of trips where we catch them. And I'm not against harvesting fish that we're legally allowed to harvest. Sharks is one of those things that they're everywhere. It doesn't matter how many you catch, how many you keep, they're everywhere. You can't get away from them inshore, you can't get away from them offshore. So your best bet is to just harvest one. So we're fishing pretty close to the spot we were at yesterday catching trout. I'm probably 150 yards, 200 yards from where I was yesterday. I figured since they were so small in that spot yesterday, maybe move down a little bit. You'd be surprised, sometimes the bigger trout are just on the outskirts of the smaller trout. Not always, but sometimes. And it seemed to be what I needed to do this morning. So here we are. Here's a better fish. Hopefully it's not another dang shark. Another great summertime species, old Jack Revolve. These little guys here will tear you up if you're not careful. They got spines everywhere, and they got these little razor blades on their tail here. And they, it's like getting cut with a fillet knife. It doesn't feel good at all. I know what you're thinking. Why is he just catching trash fish? Well, I promise you there was some nice trout here before I started recording. We'll find them. Got another strong east wind today, so east northeast they say, but it's pretty straightforward, an east wind, which isn't a bad thing, but it's kind of one of those things you gotta move around so you can find a spot where you can keep your lines tight and get away from all the shenanigans of rough water and wind blowing in your face. It doesn't make for a very enjoyable fishing trip whenever you're fighting wind the whole time. There's Mr. Trout fish. There's a good fish too. See, I told you there was some around. Yeah, that's a nice trout. Another one for the box. We'll measure them real quick, but that's a nice, probably 14 and a half inch speckled trout. I was right, 14 and a half. He's going in the box. Hopefully we can get the bigger ones to start eating, and I'll throw some plastic for them. That's my favorite thing to do for trout, is throw plastic, just to feel that hit. It's something unexplainable. We're gonna do this probably for a little bit, let the tide drop out more, and then we'll go mess with some sheephead. I might get some video of that for you. You gotta be careful doing that. I got some super secret spots that I don't want a whole bunch of people fishing out. It's cast after cast. Another little trout. Okay there. Probably 13, 12 and a half, 13. Fun to catch. I think come fall time, it's gonna be good fishing. With as many small reds and as many small trout that's been around, I don't see why fall time shouldn't be killer for trout and redfish. Definitely sheephead, which fall is always good for sheephead. Try up here a little bit further and see what's going on up there. So this is just my 2 cents in case you're wondering. Summertime, if some of you guys are out fishing and having a hard time finding fish, I mean, there's several variables to take into consideration, but most of the time, if you can find bait summertime, you're gonna find fish. It may not be exactly what you want to catch, but you're gonna find fish. Summertime with these warmer water temperatures, these fish are kind of scattered. So, you know, sometimes you may find schooling fish. Most of the time, they're gonna be on bait. Rookie fishing over here. And again, that's just my opinion. You know, looking for bait during the summertime, it seems to work pretty good for me. Most of the time when I find bait, you find fish. So, and a lot of times if you pull up to a spot, you know, that's got a bunch of bait on it and you're catching, I call them trash fish, but they're not really trash fish. There's a nice trout. You know, your jacks and ladyfish, like I said, they run with trout. all these fish are feeding on the same thing. So that's another nice one. This one's got some little itty bitty spots like a Gulf speckled trout. That's cool. They just covered in them. That's another nice 15.5 inch trout. Beautiful fish. Oh, I love them. That gives us 5 so far. Maybe I'll get lucky and get my limited trout. Now, those of you that are asking, yeah, you just went fishing yesterday, you got a bunch of fish, why keep more fish? Well, I eat a good bit of fish. I got a lot of friends and family that eat fish. And then on top of that, I have a commercial license. So you gotta pay for all this stuff somehow. And then chartering slow, well, come out here and catch fish. That way I can stay on the fish. And if I can take them to the market, make a couple dollars, why not? I'm human. We all got things to pay for. He was probably right at 14. We let him go. So if you're curious, these fish that I catch today, I've got enough fish from yesterday for my freezer. And my neighbor, she wanted some, so I got to take care of her. But if we get enough fish today, I will be taking some to the market. I don't make a whole lot of money. I know a lot of people think that, oh, he's a commercial fisherman, he's got all kinds of money. Well, I don't make a bunch of money commercial fishing, but I make enough to keep the boat running. Another small trout. Whoa! Sorry, buddy. Well, it's a pretty common size for summertime trout. 10.5, 12 inches. These are little schoolies. I don't know if you could hear them grunting, but the males are the ones that grunt. Females typically don't. At least I've never seen a female that grunts. And the way to tell the difference is either by listening to the grunt or harvest the fish and see if they've got roe. The females getting ready in the fall time, a lot of the females will be full of roe. And that is my least favorite time to harvest trout because I'm a big conservation person. It sounds crazy coming from the charter captain, but you know, I don't run charters every single day. If anything, I would say I fish by myself or with somebody most of the time versus running charters. So, you know, we don't always keep fish, but these big females in the fall time, they're full of roe. And I don't remember how many tens of thousands of eggs, you know, one 22-inch trout carries. But to me, I'd much rather, you know, take a picture of it, let her go, let her grow, have her babies. That way we've got, you know, fish for the future. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, I've been fishing since I was, you know, knee-high to a grasshopper. And I haven't noticed any shortage. Yeah, but you also didn't keep every fish you caught, I would hope. And then on top of that, most people that are like that, they don't fish every day. And if they do, hey, more power to you. I'm glad that you were able to, you know, keep that many fish and haven't noticed a big difference. Me, I do a lot of tagging for Georgia DNR, and I've noticed over the past couple years that redfish numbers are down, keeper size black drum numbers are down. There's still a lot of fish there, but at least for what I'm catching, they're low. Now, obviously, speckled trout isn't a low fish, but they're a pretty fast-growing fish, one. And two, I mean, they're always abundant. I don't know how many eggs they lay, like I said, but they lay a lot, so it makes sense that there's always a bunch of trout. But I want to have a retirement plan, so this will be my retirement plan. Running charters, helping people catch these, you know, beautiful eating fish. Let's see, he might be 14.5. No, he's right at 14. We'll let him go too. So typically whenever I run a commercial trip, you know, I'm not allowed any more than if Joe Schmo was to come out here and go fishing. I'm only allowed my legal limits of everything as far as trout, sheephead, black drum, whiting. Now redfish, I don't take to the market. I very rarely keep redfish for myself because, again, there's to me, the numbers that I'm seeing are a lot lower as far as slot size redfish. There is a bunch of redfish, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of shorts or a lot of over slots, which isn't a bad thing either. But certain times of the year, there's slot redfish everywhere. I can agree with that. You know, a lot of the charters that I run, especially fall, winter time, we harvest a lot of redfish. But at the same time, I'm tagging and releasing a lot of redfish those days that I'm not running charters. To me, I like getting the information, you know, back from DNR. If somebody catches a fish that I tagged, it tells me a lot about the fish. You know, where I released it, where they caught it, how much it's grown. And I will say that redfish from probably birth to about 16, 18 inches, they get there pretty quick. I would say probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then after that 18 to 20 inch mark, it seems like they slow down in growth. Another nice fish here. There's another jack. Yep, it is. So with these, a little bit different from the Kale hook. So I like throwing a popping cork with about 2 foot a leader, 1/4 inch jig head. And I hook them the same way I hook them on the slip rig, you know, through the bottom of the head. And again, it keeps them active on the hook. They stay alive pretty well. And especially on a windy day, a lot of times you'll throw and shrimp will come off the hook. That seems to help quite a bit, hooking them that way. I know there's a million ways to skin a cat. Same thing with hooking a shrimp, but that's just the way I like doing it. Off the popping cork and going a little bit deeper. Seems like all these jacks and ladyfish are up high feeding. So let's try that just to see. And then I'm gonna grab the plastic rod. Oh, that last trout, he threw up everywhere. I've got fish guts all over the place. That's gross. So with the slip rig, I'm not changing anything. I'm probably a foot deeper than what I was on my popping cork. What I think happens with the slip rig versus the popping cork is because I use that 1/4 ounce jig head, that shrimp kind of stays low. With this one, there he is right there. With this one, the shrimp is kind of able to free flow. There's another decent trout, I believe. No, another dang jack. That's all right. I'll tell you what, for their size, these little guys pull hard. He ain't but probably a 10, 11 inch jack. Goodness gracious, they pull like a big fish. Summertime we go and you can run the beach and catch those guys on pogie pods and they'll get up 40, 50 pounds. And you want to talk about a fight, they'll wear you out. Very fun to catch, can't do anything with them. I like using them for sharp bait. I know some people do eat them and they're not terrible tasting fish. I don't really like them because it's a fishy fish. But they are halfway decent to eat if you just want to try one. You just got to make sure you cut the bloodline out of them. I had it last year to get my bait. Sorry I'm not showing a whole lot on the camera. Like I said, I spend a lot of time and a lot of money out here on the water, and I'm not against anybody coming out and fishing the spots that I fish, but to me, I got to be careful. Like I said, this is my retirement plan, and as much as I know people love going out on their nice boats and catching fish, I don't want to be one of those people that contributes to spots that I've tried to learn to go and find, and somebody just wants to go and fish it because they want to catch fish. There's another trout. I don't think he's going to be a keeper. Yeah, he might be. Oh, he's short. Probably 12 and a half, 13 inches. Again, pretty common size for summertime. But they're fun to catch, so why not pull on them? I'm gonna give this a few more baits, and then looks like the tide's starting to slow up just a little bit, so I'm gonna try my luck at some sheephead fishing. There's a lot of fish out there, I can tell you that. As soon as my cork stands up, they're already hitting it. Tell you what, let's try the plastic, see if I can alleviate some of these traps. Now, after I got off camera yesterday, I did start throwing some plastics right before I left, and that was just to see if I could pick out any of the bigger trout. Sometimes it seems like the smaller trout will eat the shrimp, and the bigger trout, for whatever reason, they like the soft plastic. I'm assuming because it's a bigger bait, maybe it's got a different action, I don't really know, but a lot of this stuff that I'm saying is just my opinions. Like I said, there's a million and one ways to skin a cat. Yesterday, I caught a few on plastic. The color I was throwing yesterday, I think it was called Houdini. Z-Man makes a bunch of baits that I love throwing. That's pretty much all I throw is Z-Man. And that bait, that profile bait usually does pretty good for me. I swapped it up this morning, throwing Z-Man, but it's an easy shrimp. It's a really funny looking bait, but it's a little bit smaller profile and a lot different action from the paddle tail that I was throwing. Sometimes that change makes a difference, sometimes it doesn't. It seems like right now it's probably not going to make a difference, but at least I can say I tried it. So when I'm working these soft plastics, I do a bump, bump, pause method. And I'll swap it up. I'll do a bump, bump, pause, bump, pause, bump, bump, pause. Sometimes I'll do 3 bumps. It's kind of whatever feels good. And the tide's moving kind of quick, so I'm doing a little bit faster retrieve. Sometimes that hurts you. Sometimes a faster retrieve isn't what they want. They want the slow, lazy shrimp. So, oh, as soon as it hit the water, he hit it. Oh, did it again. Dang it. I have to make another cast to that spot. That was fast. Let's try it. I'm going to guess that's probably jacks because they're just pecking at it. Oh, it came off. Dadgum. Scoot over just a little bit here. Y'all comment and let me know either on Facebook or on my YouTube page if y'all like these kind of videos. Like I said, it's nothing crazy. I'm only doing it just because it gives me somebody to talk to while I'm out here fishing by myself. And I guess I'm talking to myself, but it gets the point across. My wife mentioned maybe doing Facebook Live. I might try that one of these days. But like I said, I try to keep it secretive where I'm fishing at. There we go. And that's just because that's me. I don't know. Some people don't really care. I do. But I know how people are. They like to outfish spots. And I'm not against it, but I'm not I don't like doing that if I can help it. It's not a bad trout. He's probably 14. Let's measure him and see. Nah, he's short. Yeah, 13 and a half. They're hitting it pretty quick. Just what I'm throwing. It's just a 1/4 ounce jig head, Z-Man, easy shrimp. I think they're scented. I don't really care for the scented part, but the fish like it, so we'll give them what they like. Again, just a bump, bump, pause, bump, pause. And a lot of times these trout, they're going to hit it on the fall. They'll either hit it on the fall or right as you pop it. So it makes for a really weird hook set. And when you get the really weird hook set, you get them to the boat and then they spit the hook back at you. Happens to everybody. Definitely some smaller fish down there messing with it. That's the reason I don't really care for the scented baits. They definitely work. but it seems like a lot of the smaller, like croakers, pinfish, and jacks, they like picking at it. Go back to the popping cork. Thought the jig head was working pretty good, but dang it. Again, the depth I'm fishing is boat's still in 8 feet of water. There's a big ledge here and it goes up to a shell bar. Summertime I like fishing that because it seems like that cooler water is in that 6 to 10 foot range, and when it comes up on a shell bar, especially the last, there it goes, last bit of outgoing, first bit of incoming, that cooler water starts to, I guess, mix with the shallower stuff, and it really fires the bait up. When it fires the bait up, well, it fires the fish up. So that one there might be 14. Yeah, he's right on 14, but we're going to let him go to see another day. See you, buddy. Something about that bite just really gets me fired up. In case y'all are wondering, I'm throwing a, this is a Pin Fathom. I'm sorry, this is my Pin Squall. It's a higher gear ratio. I believe it's an 8 to 1, maybe. Yeah, 8 to 1. It's got 33 inches of retrieve per crank. Throwing it on a ugly stick carbon inshore rod. I really love these rods. I just swapped to them probably 3 years ago. I'm a big ugly stick and pin fan. I'm all about a quality budget rod. I go through rods like I go through pairs of socks. And I will say ugly stick has probably held up the best out of all of them. And again, that's just for me. Some people don't like them because of how cheap they are. Some people love them. I would say probably more people love them than hate them, but you know, to each their own. If you like the ugly stick rods, fish them. Just let me know what I'm using. It's a 7-foot extra fast, medium light. I like the medium light for the action on the soft plastics. For my popping cork, oh crap! For my popping cork rod, I use a medium. It's a little bit stiffer, but it's got a faster tip. And then same thing for my slip float rig. I use a medium on that also. And the only reason that is that little bit stiffer. Some of the times, you know, you're making a lot longer drifts with the float rigs, and it seems like that stiffer rod helps you get a better hook set. At least for me. Again, everything is, it's all just my opinion on stuff. I think we might throw 1 or 2 more shrimp, and then we'll go try the next spot. Can't decide if I want to go straight to Sheephead or go try to catch a few more trout. I think I might go straight to Sheephead. Let's try drifting 1 or 2 more shrimp, and then we'll go set up on the Sheephead spot. See if we can't catch a couple of those. I don't know if I said it this morning. I put in at Crooked River. Alan was working at the bait shop this morning. They're always super helpful there. The other day I went, saw Devin up at Davison's Bait and Tackle. That's another really good establishment that they have there. They're always super helpful. They always got all the bait you need. But this morning we went and saw Alan at North Star. Crooked River is pretty close to my house. That's the reason I use that most of the time on these solo trips. I wanted to go fish the jetties this morning for flounder, but strong east wind is not fun at the jetty, especially on the outgoing tide. It makes it a little rough. But that's okay. We're in the river now, so I'm happy. Y'all saw that. Swapped to the popping cork. Went from the plastic to the popping cork and immediately got a bite. So that tells me they're still there. I just don't know if it's the wrong color, if I'm working it too fast, too slow. These are the things that go on in my head while I'm fishing. What can I do different? Another decent trout. He ain't a keeper, I don't think. There's plenty of them though, goodness gracious. Nope, another short. I would like to try to get one more keeper trout before I go, but if I don't, then I'll catch it on the first bit of the incoming. That seems to be a pretty good trout bite then too. Needlefish. Uh-oh. Another thing we get a lot of in the summertime. You want to talk about aggravating. Those little jokers there, teeth are like razor blades. And the second you find them, good luck getting rid of them. Alright, one last shrimp. I think I got a little school of needlefish that came in, so they're picking me clean. Try up here a little bit further away from them, see if that helps any. Nope, second it hit the water, they're already on it. Good Lord. First thing this morning, I went looking for redfish, but the tide wasn't quite low enough for the couple of spots that I wanted to fish, so. I don't know what that was, but I pulled the shrimp from it. Let's see if they ate the legs or the butt off. No, maybe that was a decent fish. He didn't get any of the shrimp, so let's try that cast again. Is that? I need to scoot back and throw plastic there. Goodness gracious. Oh, that makes sense. A little pile ladyfish. Alright, one more ladyfish and we'll move. That's another one of those fish. Once you find them, gotta weed through them. I think that's what that is down there. It's a little school ladyfish. I think he already got my bait. No, he didn't get it. Goodness gracious. Oh, trout. He hammered it. Little fella. Hear him grunting. He's got a little sore right there. That's not good. Go get better, buddy. Alright. Let me slide back here. I'm gonna throw plastic just for another minute or two. I'm not gonna bore y'all with that. I'll turn the video back on whenever we get over to the sheephead spot. Alright, I pulled up to the sheephead spot, made a couple drops, missed a couple of fish. If that ain't the way it goes, I don't know. But let's see if I can catch one for you on camera. They don't seem like they're very big sheepheads, so that makes them a little bit harder to hook, but we'll give it a few drops here and see if we can't catch one on camera for you. He might be a keeper. Close. So in Georgia, sheephead got to be 10 inches to the fork. I know a lot of people think 10-inch sheephead doesn't have a lot of meat, and they really don't, but these 10, 11-inch to the fork fish, if you like whole fish, I will tell you that is probably some of the best eating fish, at least for me, saltwater whole. So there's a little sheephead. I call them 7-stripe jetty snappers. They're always a really, really feisty fish. And they got spines everywhere. I mean, all this right here will poke you. Everything on the bottom under my hand is bad. A lot of people like to see their teeth. They got funny looking teeth. Let me go measure him and see if he's a keeper. So just for size comparison, that's a 9.5 inch sheephead. We're gonna let him go. See you later, buddy. See if we can't catch another one. Little pockets inside the structure that I'm fishing, and with the tide moving, it seems like the fish like to hide in those holes while the tide's running fast. So that's all I'm fishing. There's a lot of structure inshore that you can fish. You just got to know how to find it, know how to fish it. A lot of the stuff that I fish, several people, I see them out here fishing it quite often. Whether they're catching anything, I don't really know, but it's not where you fish, it's how you fish. Taken several people fishing that they'll be fishing the way they want to, and it works better than what I'm doing, and vice versa. Sometimes what I'm doing works better than what they're doing. I'm always learning stuff. That's probably one of the best things about going on, being a charter captain, is I meet a lot of cool people, and more times than not I learn something new from some of these clients that I take. So I'm always about learning something, especially if it's something I don't know. Here's a better fish. Never mind, he was just down in the structure. Another little peanut, that's what I call them. Little bitty fellas. Feisty. Goodness, they're feisty. See you later. Alright, well, if they're all small, we're going to leave them be. There ain't no sense in yanking on little bitty sheephead. Yesterday, I pulled up, made 3 drops, caught 3 nice fish. So I hung around, then I ended up catching a few short. So it may just be that I got to weed through the small ones, but I'm not going to bore you with catching small fish over and over. Alright, the move spots, and this is probably the 5th or 6th little sheephead I've caught. I had one big one, and I couldn't get to the camera in time. And while I was fooling with the camera, he came over beside the boat, but that's the way it goes. So. I'm going to give this a couple more minutes. It's starting to rain a little bit. I'm going to stay here and get rained on. There's a big pile of rain here. So I don't stay too much longer here. I've got rain gear, but if I don't have to break it, I really will. See if I can't catch you one more on camera. good, I can tell you that. Maybe that rain turned them on, because they slowed off there for a little bit. There's one little bitty spot that they're biting consistent. If I get 5 feet to the left or 5 feet to the right, they don't bite it. Picky. These are high school or college fish here. Good gracious. I'm gonna assume they're a little bit until I catch a bigger one. I mean, it's instant the second it gets there. But sometimes that means that it is bigger fish, and they're just really smart. Has to do with these little tiny fiddlers, but I'm not going to judge. At least I got some. I like mud crabs a little bit better than the fiddler crabs, just because they hold up a little bit better. And typically, you get 2 or 3 baits off of one mud crab, depending on how big they are. These fiddlers is kind of a one and done kind of deal. I guess if you get the really big marsh fiddler crabs, you could probably get 2 baits out of them. Fish to hook in the river. Maybe it's not sheephead, maybe it's a little smaller or something. We'll have to catch one and find out. One is better if there's not sheephead. But where the babies are, mommy can't be far. There's one. That would be a keeper sheeper. I can keep him on the thing. Looks like it's looking good. Get a boat flip on him. Yeah, that's a keeper sheeper. Finally. There you go. It's probably 12 and a half inch here. I got the stick right here. Let's see. Yep, 12 inch to the fork sheephead. He's going to go on the box. Me at least another 5-10 minutes to sit here. I know there's bigger ones here. Like I said, I caught a bunch of bigger ones yesterday, not far from right here. A lot of the times, the smaller ones are just more fired up to eat, and the bigger ones are the little ones are kind of, they beat them to the punch sometimes. Getting wet, my back is getting soaked. I'll try putting 2 of these little guys on here to see what that does. Maybe a bigger one will eat it. Trying to fall my bait right inside that hole and get them to eat. Well, I got bit with the 2 of them. Let's go back to 1 and see if that makes a difference. Sometimes the smaller fiddlers are better because the fish will suck it right up and start swimming with it. Versus the bigger ones, they have to bite on it to get it in their mouth. Unless it's a big sheephead, and they'll suck the fiddler crab up, keep it on. Feeding the heck out of them today. it's sticking. I guess that east wind is just pushing them on, which is nice. I'm getting some. I was hoping to catch one more. But I guess that's not going to happen. If I catch one more small one, I'll go ahead and move. Sheephead charter, what I try to do is get some chum, and all I do is find a pile in or I can scrape off a bunch of barnacles. And a lot of times when you pull up to a spot and you know there's fish there but they're not eating, a lot of times you can throw a bunch of that chum in the water and get them, kind of get them fired up, get them feeding. Action brings action. So the more bait you can get down there and get them feed. The only thing that stinks about doing that is a lot of times you'll get the smaller trash fish that'll come in and feed on it too. But like I said, action brings action, so if you can chum them, sometimes that makes a heck of a difference. So typically when I run sheephead charters, we try to get at least half of a 5-gallon bucket. This bucket here is a 3-gallon bucket. We try to get that most of the way full. As we're sitting here fishing, if the bite dies off, throw a couple of handfuls of barnacles and crushed oysters and stuff in there. Typically that'll get them going again. Not always, but I like to think that it does. These fish are tough men for sure, goodness. We couldn't keep the bait down there for 2 minutes ago. Almost 14 overall, so I was about right, about 1.5 inches more. That's a dang good eating fish, right? That's like the perfect eating size. I found a spot with some little reds. Of course, I can't hang on to them. That's a redfish, real pretty. Little guy, he's probably 12, 13 inches. I'm gonna be way back here because I can't cast, but I'm trying to keep this spot a secret too. Finally found something worth bragging about here. I don't know if he's gonna be too big or what. We're about to find out. Yeah, I think he's gonna be too big. We'll have to get the net for this guy. We ain't boat flipping. He might not be too big. Let's see. Oh, we got him. Good one. You guys have been eluding me for a while now. I think he might be too big, but we'll check him out and see. And there he is, Mr. Redfish. He's a good one. Let's see what he goes. I'm gonna guess 24, but I could be wrong. 20. Wow, that's a tournament fish. 22 7/8. So you can guess where he's gonna go. He's gonna go in the box. I haven't had no redfish on the half shell in a while, so there he is. All I already told my wife I'd be headed home, but lo and behold, every time I say that, another fish bites. Let me get another bait here, see if we can replicate that. I've been watching bait get blown up on, but I was thinking that it was, excuse me, more ladyfish, because they were really, really fast and they were really, really small baits. So, I don't know, I just kept throwing shrimp in there, and finally that good one ate it. Took long enough, daggone it. But let's see if we can't do it again here. There's still a big old school of bait up there. And we got something here. I don't think it's a big red. Oh, he just popped off right there. No. That one might have been a little bit smaller keeper, but we'll never know. So throw back in there, see if we can't do it again. They're not hitting it really hard. They're kind of just slowly pulling the cork down. And it's making me think that it's trash fish. That's what that last redfish did. And then come to find out it wasn't a trash fish, it was a nice red. Here comes the wind and rain. All right, well, let me show you this. What the heck is this? That was a shark. Just skied out of the water. That was crazy. Oh, he cut me off. All right, well, with that, I'm gonna head to the hill. All right, guys, back at the boat ramp and soaking wet. That's what we ended the day with. Not a bad day. I got really, really wet, so it is what it is. I'm glad I caught fish. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Let me get this boat loaded up and then get this video posted this evening for y'all. Thanks for watching.